The refugees you were talking about that were in the Katumba camp, they were from Burundi. After the great wars in Rwanda and Burundi, refugees were streaming into Tanzania. And after being there so many years, the United Nations finally quit helping, and it was just basically they were on their own and they were sequestered in these areas. They were non-citizens, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't work out anywhere. And these are people that had to flee their country, not just people from the jungle. I mean, these are working people, doctors, lawyers, merchants, farmers, everybody had to flee their homes, and they're out there now in the wilderness trying to poke an existence out of the dry land. And they came to us when we were at Katumba. I told you at that big meeting there. A bishop over several of the groups there, and one of the pastors came to us and said, this is late at night after the meetings, it's dark, we're sitting there with our little kerosene lamp on the counter because there's no electricity or water in this hut that we're living in. They came, beat on the door and came in and said, we feel that we need to relate to you a prophecy that was given to us several years ago. Said 2 white men were coming to our region and they were going to break the curse of refugee status off from our people. And so you're those men. And so we visited with them a while, talked with them a while, got information. And we did. We prayed with them, prayed over them, declared the word of God, broke the curses over them as refugees and people without a home and without a country and all that, did everything we knew to do. They left thrilled and excited, God's working. And so the next year, when we came back, our train stopped at the Katumba station. We were going to get out there on our way to Mpanda to get out and greet some of the people while we were waiting at the station there, but they wouldn't let us off the train. Said nobody can get off the train this year. Nobody can get off the train. Says why? Well, look over there. And they had people in pens like cattle waiting to get up to these desks where a bunch of official people were sitting. And we said, well, what's going on? He says, well, the government of Tanzania and Burundi have got together and lifted the refugee status from these people, and now they're trying to do a census here and find out who they all are and where they're supposed to live. And the outcome was these people were excited that the refugee status was lifted, that that prophecy had been fulfilled. And many of the Burundians then were allowed to go back home. Okay, well, there were 3 Burundi churches in the Nyarugusu camp. Okay, because many of them have gone back home. Some of them have been scattered all over other parts of Tanzania, but that refugee center had been broken up. Okay, and everybody scattered. Well, many of the ones that went back to Burundi, now their civil war breaks out, they're back as refugees again. And so their camp's gone, so now they're in the Nyarugusu camp with the Congolese refugees. And so, like I say, 3 more churches were built there for them. Now, again, period of time, okay? 2 of those groups have now gone back to Burundi again, and we have, I think, 6 churches now in Burundi, okay, that have been established by graduates and by these people going back. And there's still 1 left in the camp over there. So long way around to get to the Nyarugusu camp here, where there are still some of the Burundian refugees, many of the Congolese refugees, but the churches there are growing and doing very well.